Hey everyone, let's wait for a minute or two for others to join. We will start exactly at 7:02. Hey everyone. First of all, thank you so much for joining this webinar, AI powered outbound lead generation for early stage B2B companies. Let's first have some introduction. My name is Tamil. I'm the founder of the company Tacticalism, which is a B2B SaaS marketing company. We help early stage B2B SaaS companies to validate markets, generate leads, and then grow. That's my quick introduction. I'll ask participants to tell me your name. That's obvious. I can see your name. If you can leave your company name and your job title there, that would be awesome. You can use chat model here to send me the message. Mithika, senior digital marketer. Okay. It's a close knit group, I guess. We have 7 or 8. Uh, Indra Prasad, Sindhuja, Kishore, Vaishalini, Saranakumar. If you can tell me your company name and what you do there, that would be awesome. Okay, Kishore from Seaflow Partnership. Thanks, Kishore. Can I get one more response so we can move on? Indra Prasad from Merchandising First Steps. Cool. Thank you. This is going to be our agenda for this webinar. We will have high level objective covered. We will talk about how we can validate market. We will we will talk more about how we can generate leads. And this is important, how AI messaging at scale with humanization can be made. So that's important ask for today. And then we will talk about if we should scale or kill a campaign, how we decide, and what kind of infra system we need to have if we need to achieve 1 million number. At last, we'll have a quick demo of what we have built. We have an internal engine. We'll see that. Then we'll have question and answer session. Vaishalini, digital marketing. Thanks, Vaishalini. Okay. I have talked to a number of B2B SaaS founders in the recent past. Most of them felt like they had to use ads by burning a lot of budget to validate markets quickly. And some felt like they had to use a lot of time and energy for creating content as an SEO strategy to validate market. But in reality, most of us will know, I'm going to reiterate, we need to use outbound a lot to validate market fast because you can't afford money when you are not sure about your value proposition and its ability to attract people, which in turn gives you revenue. And you don't know your ICP, you can't validate it, right? So it won't be a good idea for us to spend a lot of time on ads and SEO to validate market. The best idea would be outbound. You can do outbound email and outbound LinkedIn. Here we'll talk more about outbound email, where scalability is possible. But you have to choose one of these outbound methods to validate your market quickly. You have hypothesis basically, and you need to run campaigns and see for yourself if it's giving result or not, right? So that's how we need to validate markets. We need to think like a typical founder. We need to follow lean principles and validate as early as possible. We will also, in fact, we will talk more about how we can generate leads here, what kind of systems we will use, best practices, and the real world insights, etc. And then we will talk about how we can decide if something is working or not. If it is, how we can scale. If it's not, how we should kill, how fast we should kill. We'll talk about that as well. This is the framework I have been using for the last 10 or 12 years. Whenever I need to validate a market, generate leads, and then scale, right? In the validation phase, you have to do market research, right? You have a value proposition and you have an hypothesis about your ICP, but you don't know if your ICP is willing to pay for what you are offering, correct? Uh, in the process, uh, after doing your market research, right? When I say market research, I mean customer research, competition research, and also uh, buyer behavior, correct? Based on that, you'll be able to define your ICP, and then you will also be able to get your positioning message and then uh, messages that you can use across channels. Uh, Phase two, generating leads. Of course, I haven't used Clay for last 10 years. It's a new product, but the funda is same. We have to use uh, tools or systems to generate leads. In the earlier stages, I used to do a lot of web research myself and then build database. Now everything I did is being automated by a tool like Clay. So we can use Clay for building your prospects list, and then the the tool itself can do research, and it can help you write messaging also. In the case of Clay, it will help you research and understand if the given company is doing this particular business or not, right? We used to spend a lot of time in doing this. We apply a lot of filters and then we export list of companies and contacts, but we don't know if the classification being done by LinkedIn is accurate or not. So we used to go to these companies website one by one and understand if that company is doing exactly what we wanted them to do, right? It was a time tedious process, but we had to do it because we had to suck it up as there was no alternative. After the emergence of Clay, you can build the database on their dashboard as tables, and then you can use AI to do the research we used to do. You can tell Clay, go to these companies' websites one by one, and then understand if they are doing this particular business, and then say yes or no. Example, you might want to serve your product or services to tax services companies, and you don't want to reach out to any other companies that are non-tax companies, even if the company is having a product you are not interested, right? uh, so it basically you just need to reach out to customers who are providing tax planning as a service, right? You can have a prompt engineering, you can have a prompt on Clay which will do the research as if a human does. So that's the transformation I've got in the outbound markets landscape recently, and it has been useful for me. I hope it should be useful for you too. I will talk about that soon. For generating leads, you need to talk about, you need to think about orchestration tools like N8. We have been using it a lot in the recent days. And for delivery, you can think of Instantly or Smartly. Personally, I've been using Instantly. And the phase three, yeah, like we discussed earlier, we need to either kill or scale a campaign. If something is working, obviously we need to double down, right? When you need to double down, what kind of infra you should be looking at, what kind of KPIs you need to be looking at, and what kind of cost involved. So you need to think about all those. We'll cover those too soon. We have built an agent using Claude at Tacticalism, which will do all the research. What we will give as input is we have to tell the product and its value proposition, use case, number of competitors, and any USP, etc. Right? Then AI agent itself will do all the research, and they will do gap analysis, SWOT analysis, etc. And then they will come back to us and say, this is your product positioning, this is how it should be, this is your USP, and this is your ICP, and their behavior is this. And these are, you gave me some competitors, and these are additional competitors. And it will also give me generic message. We built this AI agent, and it has been useful to some extent. I am not going to be giving you false promises. We keep building this. For now, it's mediocre quality, but useful. I forgot to mention this. If you have any questions, please feel free to put that in chat. Otherwise, we can discuss everything towards end of this webinar. There will be a QA session. Yeah, so this is more important, right? In the phase one, validation phase, like I said, we need to discuss, we need to do market research, positioning, and then messaging. The success signal here would be, especially when you are in the validation stage, 2% positive reply when you have reached out to 200 emails. If there is 2% positive response, then we can say that as kind of validated segment. I wouldn't say conclusive validated segment. I would say indicative validated segment. So this is what the workflow looks like for this research agent. So basically, we will input all our answers, right? As in value proposition, how it helps people, our success stories, everything will be there. And then we will ask either Claude or GPT to do the research. For now, we are using Claude extensively. And then the AI will do the research, and it will populate all the required details in a Google Sheet. After this webinar, we will also send you the questionnaires we used for this agent. And also we will share this recording and the webinar presentation deck as well, so that you can also build something like this at your end and give us feedback on how it went. If you need any help, we can also jump on a call and help you out. This is Clay. This is how we build a database at Tacticalism for last 6 or 7 months, right? It has been most effective lead sourcing platform, right? In the older days, I used to rely on tools like Zoom Info, and I used to rely on our own research, right? Then we got Apollo, we got Sixth Sense, etc. Clay is much more advanced. You can not only build database, you can do research, you can personalize message at scale. Clay has something called personalized to one-liner. It basically will go to the prospect's LinkedIn profile and their company profile and anything that are pertaining to these two parameters, and then it will suggest a one-liner. That one-liner wouldn't be mediocre one-liner, right? It will try to understand what you are offering and then what they are experiencing. They will connect these two dots with a natural transition. So we can use this one-liner for personalizing and humanizing every outbound message that we are sending. So this is a typical Clay table view where we applied some filters. In this case, we are trying to find, we are trying to find customers based on filters like industry, employee size, and location. Here you can see the LinkedIn summary. We also have personalized one-liner. I'm not sure if that's visible. Yes, it's there. Here. This is personalized one-liner. While building this particular clay table, we would face a lot of challenges, especially clay has multiple filtering options. Uh, there'll be more, right? If you have more, it will be hard for you to prioritize which you need to do. And then AI qualification. Prompting inside clay comes with own challenges, but you need to suck it up for 30 to 60 minutes. You'll be able to figure it out. And then you need to think about JavaScripts as well. In order to use clay, you don't have to be a typical technical user, but you need to have some sort of technical rhythm. Otherwise, it will be hard. But the bottom line is, even a business user can effectively use clay, but they need to have some sort of technical intent. This is a core workflow on N8N. So basically, we build data on clay and then push it to Google spreadsheet via the native integration, and then we use Claude to do some research and then personalize message. And then there is one more layer on Claude where I'll input my personal narratives as a repository, which will be considered as an input by Claude, and then it will try humanizing the content, right, for every outgoing message. Meaning, I have a list of personal narratives as a repository, right? I have experienced so many things, lived moments, uh, case studies. Everything is in a repository, and it all will lead to a GTM lesson, a learning, or it can be a marketing value add as well, right? So it's sitting there, and I'm feeding that to Claude, which will make the message look more one-to-one. I'll also show you an example how a generic message will look like, and how a personalized message will look like, and how a humanized message will look like. I'll show you an example soon. Right. Once the messaging is populated by Clay, then we will send it to instantly via N8N using the native integration, and then we launch campaign. Right. So this is how we run our outbound. You can feel free to take a screenshot. Like I said, I'll also send this webinar deck and also webinar recording. And when you are building this workflow on N8N, you'll face a number of challenges. Some of them are listed at the footer: uploading, reading sheet, JavaScript, and adding to instantly via their API. So if you're not a technical user, it will be very hard for you. But like I said, spend 30 to 60 minutes, suck it up, and you'll be there. If you need any assistance in getting your workflow done, please reach out to me. My email address is tamil@tacticlesson.com. It will be there in the presentation tab as well. This example, I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes. Here you can see a generic message and a personalized message, which was created using Clay's one-liner and then GPT's research, not Claude this time, but GPT's research. No human story. We haven't used our personal narratives repository in version 2, but in the version 3, you will see everything. A generic message converted into humanized message. That includes Clay one-liner, GPT research, and also my personal repository. Based on that, the system humanized the copy. Feel free to take a screenshot. I'll also send the webinar deck anyway. So this is how we humanize the content, right? You all know marketing is not just science; it's also an art. So we need to give people or recipient a one-to-one feel. Otherwise, our emails will be landing in spam folder. And even if it is landing in inbox, people won't have that one-to-one feel. Unless they have one-to-one feel, it will be hard for them to respond, right? And you all clearly know only 3 or 2% of the customers we are writing to will be in the need of what we offer. So majority, almost 98% of the people wouldn't be needing what we offer. They'll be in the awareness stage. So we need to connect with people by trying to personalize the message. That way we can expect some response. This is our entire workflow. We'll use Clay, and then we'll put it into Claude, and then N8N, and then Google Sheet. So this is our workflow. Using this, you'll be able to scale campaigns, but we don't scale as, I mean, we don't scale quickly. Like you think, we used to give at least 2 months of time to better understand the market and see the signal before scaling. These are some KPIs to decide if something is working or not, right? Replay rate 2%, no. Ideal is 5%. There is a mistake here. For every 200 outbound messages, you should be able to book 1 or 2 meetings. And we'll talk about how we can scale soon. This is how you redefine. If the number is not good, of course, you need to optimize. Persistent non-performance will lead to killing the campaign. Okay, assume you have started a campaign and it's yielding result. Now you need to double down and you want to hit 1 million cold emails per month, right? In order to do that, what kind of infra, what kind of structure, what kind of cost you should be looking at? For reaching 1 million, you have to have about 150 domains, and you need to have at least 2 email boxes per domain, and you have to send not beyond 50 emails a day per inbox, and minimum 2 weeks of warm up per domain is required before the campaign. When you're running the campaign, you have to have that because it will balance your potential spam hits. So warm up is an ongoing process. It's not that you should be having warm up only for 2 weeks. It should be there as long as you do outbound. With respect to structure, you can feel free to have 3 to 5 drips. In general, I'll use 4. In between drips, you can have 3 or 4 days gap. You can do some A/B testing on subject line, auto pause and reply. Most tools are having this. Tools like Instantly, yes, where they all will detect responses. As soon as they do, they remove the recipient from the campaign. This is about cost. For 100 to 200 domains, you'll have to spend about $2,000 a year. For Google Workspace or something like that, you'll have to spend about $3,000 per year. For Instantly, about $500 per month. And for Clay, very expensive. You have to spend about $500. N8N, $50 to $200 per month. If your campaign is kind of working and you need to double down, this is what you need to look at, right? You don't have to go to any consultant for getting this done. You can simply apply this and then you can scale. But this is a catch. You can't simply scale. You need to follow the best practices. First, you need to validate by being gradual, understand the real signals, and then only you'll be able to scale. Please keep that in mind. These are some of the KPIs. We have already discussed this. Anyway, this is there for your reference again. This is our tech stack. For data, you can use Upload, Zoom Info, LinkedIn. Everything can be used at one place called Clay. For reasoning, please use Claude. Claude is much better than ChatGPT in my view. For orchestration of your workflow, please use N8N, which is very effective and it saves a lot of time for you. Instead of having a team for outbound, you can be a single person and run outbound campaign yourself. For sending, currently we are using Instantly. You can also use Smart Leads, Snowview. For tracking, we use Google Sheets. Okay, now we have come to question and answer session. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, we can wind up. We have about 8 people. I'll give 2 minutes for this. Otherwise, we can wind up. If you have any questions, please put in chat. Here you can see my email address, my meeting URL, and this is my LinkedIn profile also. I'll send this document. If you want any help, please email me or book a meeting or stay connected with me on LinkedIn. Any questions? If you don't have any questions, please feel free to leave. I'll be here for next 2 or 3 minutes to answer any potential questions. Thank you, guys. We got a question from Ankur Khanna. Why instantly.ai? Ankur, in my previous company, I used Instantly effectively, right? It was useful for me. We had about 100 email accounts from 40, 50 domains, and we used Instantly AI. At some point of time, we had some challenges with Instantly, but that was addressed. So the customer support was good. Ever since that, it has been giving results. So after leaving that company and I started Tacticalism, where I've been using Instantly, it has been pretty useful. But you can feel free to use tools like Snowview and Smartly. It usually limit the daily emails. Yeah, there is limitation. Even Google is having limitation. But I generally advise people to have less volume when the stage is early and gradually increase. Okay. Sending 20 to 30 shouldn't be a problem. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, it seems there are no new questions. Thanks again for joining this webinar. That's wonderful. Uh, let's meet in some time. Thank you all. Bye.